So, because I am just a human being, a consciousness incarnated in an animal body, and am not perfect, and am responsible sometimes for perhaps emotional rhetoric or irresponsible rhetoric, I want to be responsible from the higher self perspective and share the perspective from the cosmic throne, from my connection to the cosmic throne, which is located in galaxy NGC 4555. Now, I just made a post and I made a video and I included in the information perhaps some very strong, divisive perspectives, rhetoric, words, because I realize that just as passionate or connected or intuitively provided for by certain historical or current personalities, people in the public, in the third 3D realm, there's the opposite as well. And that is really what we are all meant to be, is from our ego perspective and our own vantage point, to be fact finders, to report back to our higher selves and this incredible galaxy, omniverse, multiverse that we live in, and provide our own unique perspective. But within this physical realm, it will always be a realm of contention, a realm of struggle. It's just how much of that struggle do you want in your own life, and how much elevation and transcendence and ascension, alignment, integration do you want to experience? So I'm on the path of ever more and more expansion, peace, alignment, so on and so forth. And therefore, as a furtherance thereof, I want to kind of unpack some of this political, historical, spiritual, symbolic dimensions that I'm responsible for introducing. Talking about living people such as Obama, Musk, Trump, these are all highly divisive individuals, historical individuals, current individuals, and they're meant to be divisive like that. Like it's professional wrestlers. Who's your favorite professional wrestler? And so by me casting these individuals as literal demons or antichrist or cosmic reptilians, archangels, so on and so forth, that is from my limited perspective. And so I would rather be responsible and offer an energy, a more enlightened, heightened energy, and talk about things that we can all kind of agree upon, such as state worship, elite networks, spiritual corruption in high places, so on and so forth. But when you use a biblical term such as separating the wheat from the chaff, you must realize that this is also applicable to yourself, to ourselves. Now, and so on and so forth, struggle in this material realm, which only makes less than 4% of the entire observable universe. The rest is unobservable, it's spirit. But when you know that the vast majority of the reality is spirit, and that we are immortal spiritual beings playing games with one another, then you can kind of understand this perspective and not take it as personal. But the more you become integrated with, introduced to your spiritual nature, the more you become connected to source, the more that you see this from the vantage point of the cosmic throne. And you can hear things such as Zionism, talk about Zionism, talk about people who are Jews in name only. When you see who you're not allowed to criticize, then you see who holds power. the golden calf of Zionism, the payoff, Satan, Lord of this world. Which master will you serve? Now, in the Hebrew Bible, the golden calf is not merely a statue. It is a representative of statecraft as idolatry, the worship of a human-made object of security instead of the living source. That is separating the wheat from the chaff. The more that you are beholden to your human-made objects instead of the living source spirit, the more that you invest in your ego and your sense of self-importance, instead of the living source spirit guiding you, which way does the spirit blow? The more you try to hold on and fight spirit, fight source, the more contention in your life you'll experience. The more contention in this world we will experience. The more deception you will experience. The wide gate Christians, the Jesus cult, they are being co-opted. They are being exploited to provide the troops of doom so that they may depopulate this planet. Now, from the light worker starseed perspective, we have always been told and talked about that there is a separation of the world, of the dimensions, third, fifth dimension, bifurcation that will take place. And however that's achieved, but it can also be achieved by a culling, by mass warfare. Be prepared for anything. Just follow your intuition. The intuition that I follow is that I am on a path of stability and foundation that will be positioned in the future to provide a source of communication and well-being for those who have chosen that path. And those who are choosing the path of secular Zionism, of Netanyahu, Ben Gurion, all of that stuff, you go back in history, the Balfour Declaration, Freemason, you can see the Bible, the basically Revelations, the book of Revelations is based on a Hindu document, a Vedic document of the whole experience of the chakras, the energy vortices. All of that was in the book of Revelations, John experiencing that. That was all taken by Freemasons in the King James Bible, Sir John Dee. All of that was co-opted to create a self-fulfilling prophecy according to world Zionism, according to so on and so forth. All of that. That is secular Zionism. Hitler was a Zionist. World War II, World War I, all of that was staged for cullings of peoples. The Germans never were part of the Holy Roman Empire. The Rhine, if you look at the the geography of Europe and the extent of the Roman Empire, and then later the Vatican, that never went beyond the Rhine, the Danube, that river that separated that part of Europe. Germany was never part of that. The Germans, as a strong people, as a united people, as a people not under Zionism, secular Zionism, were brought into the fold through destruction, through mass destruction of German nationalism. That is the same thing that's going to take place in America. The Make America Great Again movement. They are being set up for the same experience. You're going to see this vast revival of Christianity, of martial valor. I mean, you have now the Secretary of War, the Department of War, all of that. All of the players are in place meant to inspire for this martial experience. But it is the same playbook that took place in the 40s with the German people. And you're going to have this vast nationalism, revival of nationalism. People will go to war, so on and so forth. Now, you know, I was in the United States Army for over 20 years. I'm a disabled U.S. Army veteran. I've put my time in, but I have been led on another path So I don't necessarily am not condemning what's going to take place as far as warfare. If I was a young person in this day and age, I probably would be right back in the infantry, right back as a ranger, special forces, and all that, ready to go, ready to battle, ready for battle. So be it. Choose your path. I'm 56 years of age. I have been led on another path, and this is an occult path, a hidden path, a path of spirituality, a path of higher energies directing me. But I feel compelled to speak the truth. And whoever avails himself of this truth, no matter how it's presented, as expertly as I'm able to present it, as I'm able to present it through my filters of ego. But yes, I must speak the truth. So I make posts and stuff. I get kind of caught up in my, lower animal nature from that human perspective. And that's how the majority of people are being exploited. God bless their souls, but everyone has their part to play. I'm just trying to provide a higher energetic perspective of what is taking place, and perhaps who the energies that I represent. Now, religious Zionism is, the modern Israeli state. All of this is being co-opted as a divine instrument, merging temporal power with this divine destiny. But this is a very multifaceted, nuanced area of study. And so I'm not really here to condemn Israel or what's taking place in the world, certain energies, and so on and so forth. I'm just trying to provide a higher perspective that somewhat alleviates myself from any responsibility that I may have occurred karmically by posting about CK or what has taken place. I want to make it very clear that the filters of ego and the deception that has been taking place and will continue to take place, we are aware of it. This Anglo-Zionist empire can be viewed as a system, not necessarily any species or race, because trust me, many races, you have South Africans killing their fellow Africans. The great Zulu holy man, Credo Baba Vasamazulu Baba Credo Mutwa, was tormented by his own people. So many peoples, many skin colors are part of this system, this Anglo-Zionist system, which ultimately is a reptilian dominator system from Orion. This stuff has been taking place going back centuries. If you look into Egypt, between Ra, the cult of, between Osiris, all of these different gods represent different solar energies, the solar energies of Sirius, Sirius A, Sirius B. That connection, that Stargate into our solar entity, which I refer to as Ra. But when it becomes emanated or stepped down in voltage into this physical reality, well, it's wonderful. It is it is dynamic. It is certainly a great time to be alive, and certainly a time to not be destroying your temple. So we understand this Anglo-Zionist empire, this reptilian energy, as a system, a dominating imperial system, and not meant to call out any one particular species or skin colors or anything of that nature. Many people partake of it. Many people drink of the blood of this sacrifice. This term I'm using is a more political analysis. Left wing, anti-imperial, blah, blah, blah. They're all part of the same little blood drinking cult. London, Washington, Israel, this military intelligence, cyber finance hegemony, City of London networks, finance, Babylon, black magic, money magic, Babylon banksters. It's a very nuanced and deep network. So I don't want to be as taken or understood as some kind of simplistic rhetoric where I'm demonizing individuals based on skin color or any of that. And, you know, I fully realize that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are part of that system as well, because they are going to be part of the deception to lead towards warfare. Is warfare a bad thing? Is dying a bad thing? When you understand the eternal nature of your Atman, your eternal aspect, these bodies are just like garments that we take off. Like I said, if I was a young person coming into this age of warfare, I would be right there, part of it. But that's not the path that I've been led to at 56 years of age. The knowledge, the intuitions that have been shared with me. So don't want to demonize individuals or alienate anybody. I'm merely trying to communicate that from the fifth dimension, that is where the Umban, the New Earth Ashram, exist. So rather than saying that Archangel Michael is represented by Donald Trump or Elon Musk, I'm saying that Archangel Michael represents discernment, the sword that cuts illusion. The Kadištu, the life designers, are the archangel energies, the Elohim. They are the higher intelligence, urging human sovereignty. And figures like I mentioned, Obama, Musk, Trump, these are archetypal roles, innovators, tricksters, power brokers, rather than some sort of supernatural villains. But it all depends on your perspective as well. But you must decide, rather, I have decided my personal path. As I've mentioned, since September 24th, 2021, I've made thousands of videos regarding that. But part of that awakening began in August of 2021 through the activation of the energies of the fourth ray of the heart center. So, you know, attune to your own heart center, your own intuition. And I'm trying to provide a frequency for anybody who listens to watch these videos, that the deepest warfare truly, I believe, is inner warfare. We must separate our own wheat from the chaff. We must understand that our greatest enemy is our own self-importance, the ego, not being able to step outside your ego and observe things from a higher dimension, whether it be confronting Zionism, Washington, or any empire. The work begins by refusing to idolize fear or hatred. And so many people have their voices taken away from them because they are afraid to hurt anybody's feelings or speak the truth or be accused of racism or anything like that. Well, now you see how that system has worked. Now there's many young people that feel they have found their voice behind a slain idol, who I believe is a false idol. But this golden calf of Zionism is not a single politician or nation. This false idol of Zionism, this golden calf, can be found within you, within your own illusions of the ego. But the idea that salvation lies in any single state, any strongman or any flag, any external savior, is deception. It is a deception of the highest order. And whether I am part of a deception or whatnot, that's for each person to decide for themselves. I can tell you this: I'm not Ismael Perez. Okay, even though I do have books that I've written and put out there, but that I'm not Ismael Perez, who on his birthday was charging people $400 to be part of a Zoom meeting, 20 people to be privy to this elite knowledge that he has, $400 per shot. Hey, but I'm not here to, criticize his game or his monetary, his source of revenue, his revenue vector, any of that. I'm not here to. That's not what I'm about. But that's not the, that's not what I'm trying to convey here, because I truly believe the currency that we all benefit from is the currency of truth, of alignment, being in alignment with the truth, understanding your own ego filters. That is the true currency, along with the currency of this age is compassion. And compassion is for yourself, for everybody, for their perspectives. It's a very nuanced world, very complex world. But at the end of the day, it's not really when you follow your heart. So that's the fifth dimension. Namaste, namaskaram.